My wife reconnected with her old friends with benefits for crypto lessons. They won't respect my boundaries.
Uh-oh, something's going up and it ain't Bitcoin.
Oh, to set the scene, my wife, 41 female, and I, 40 male, have been together for 15 years and have a child together, 5 female. Before we met, she was friends with Casey, 44 male, whom she had occasional spicy sleep with. She cheated with him on her last boyfriend before the relationship was over, something she mentioned once and had forgotten that she had mentioned it to me.
Wow.
Okay, I want to know how far in did she mention this to you? And two, why are you still with her?
By the way, this comes from Stoner, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So the reason she ended their friendship was because the last time they had spicy sleep, he didn't pull out, quote unquote.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I never heard anything about that.
I know you don't, John. And she had to take plan B. Oh no. She was mad at him for that and decided to cut him out of her life. That was fairly recently before we met. And when she and I started dating, she was still in the process of clarifying to him that she didn't want anything to do with him anymore. What does it mean to be still in the process of clarifying?
Like, what is there to clarify?
Like, again, it was recently before we met that we had the pullout fiasco. And she was basically like, I don't want to see you anymore. You didn't pull out. But like, I guess had to repeatedly say that. So is there like a, not this time, or like, we're not going to go.
I don't know. I don't know what else there is to talk about. What else there is to break down and be communicated and understood.
I have no idea. I just know this is not fertile ground for a relationship to occur. This does not feel like something John and I would till our soil.
We only plant in the most fertilest of soils.
Only plant in the fertile grounds. Hopefully not too fertile. We want mildly fertile grounds to plant our seed.
Just enough.
Cue to now. She recently reconnected with him via another friend, and they have been spending an unusual amount of time together. This is pull-out fiasco, man. Her friend pulled her into some sort of crypto and is currently teaching her and a couple of other friends everything about crypto investments. She wants to learn everything about crypto. This feels like a rug pull.
She,
Man is pulling out
old rug
of
pull
all
out.
the things. Yeah, man. He's going to get all of them to invest, and then he's going to pull out this time. The one thing he does pull out of is risky crypto investments.
Golly.
Never in the throes of passion, though.
Learn when to use your poles, brother.
Yeah, man hodls.
he
never
holds on
pulls
for
out.
Dear life.
He hodls. Well, a couple of other friends were learning everything about crypto. She wants to learn everything about crypto investing and is attending his boot camps. But in addition to that, she also hangs out with him, taking walks,
Dude,
and just being on the phone with him.
I have read a very similar story to this about a girl that would take walks and be on the phone with someone. Soon she's going to be taking long drives to clear her head.
Ooh.
Well, I made it pretty clear pretty early that I find it a bit weird that going from I don't want to see him anymore and 15 years suddenly spending so much time with him is 0 to 100 right quick. She doesn't hide him though. She tells me when she hangs out with him or sees him and has so far been open about their interactions. He has 3 kids and is married, but again, cheated before. Might cheat again.
He's been riding them too often.
It came to a head today when she announced she was going to go out with him again after last weekend where she said she'd be going for a walk with him at night for an hour and ended up spending at least 4 hours with him taking a walk and losing track of time.
It's like track of time. You just put one foot in front of the other and then boom.
Girl was not taking a walk. She was taking a ride.
That's right.
I told her in no unclear terms that she is a grown woman, but that the intensity of their contact is worrying and making me uncomfortable. That is a totally fine thing to say.
Yep.
And that if I felt that this relationship became inappropriate, I would end things with her at the drop of a hat. She knows I have been cheated on in the past and that I have 0 tolerance policy towards cheating and cheaters. I despise it and I've never done it myself. She's upset now. I wonder why. Guilty conscience? She's upset now and currently outside in front of our house talking on the phone. I assume, no way. I assume she's talking to him. No freaking way. I don't know why. He just doesn't understand us.
He just doesn't get the
He
blockchain
just doesn't-
like we do.
yeah. He doesn't know it's the future. Meanwhile, I'm looking after our daughter and her friend, and we have an update 4 hours later. John, what are you thinking?
I think that there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for all of these things.
Yeah, she's riding.
She likes walks. She likes nature. You lose track of time. She's trying to learn her crypto. She's trying to get her
Learn her craft.
bag.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's all it is.
I do not like the smell of this one bit. So, update 4 hours later. Not sure how I am allowed to participate in this conversation. Such arbitrary rules on this, but we just had another argument before she walked out to meet him. Another argument. She put our daughter to bed, and before she left the house, she wanted to talk. She defended him and their friendship and asked why I didn't have a problem with her other exes. I've met 2 of them, and they're both stand-up guys, and she does hang out with them occasionally, but I'm not worried about them. I told her that this is different, that the context matters, and that I really don't understand why she thinks it's appropriate or even acceptable to meet with a former friends with benefits and spend so much time with them. I brought up that she cheated with him, to which she corrected me that it was someone else who she cheated with on her last boyfriend, some guy with a similar name, whatever, and that they only had spicy sleep in between relationships.
This is not helping your case at all.
Oh, they just had the same name and the same license plate and the same social security number. That's it.
Yeah, no, but they're not the same person. They're like twins. They're like twins.
Yeah, they're twins.
He's his evil twin brother.
Yeah. Just same name.
Yeah, that makes it so much worse. And then she stated that she talked it out, that what happened between them with the unprotected spicy sleep, but that I wasn't willing to hear it because I told her I don't want to hear anything about the guy as I don't like him. So instead of just hearing about all that stuff, she's just going to be spending time with him 24/7. To this, I got pretty angry, asking her if she is really discussing past spicy sleep encounters. She said, yeah, it had to be talked out. We went in a few circles after, but basically it was the same stuff. I don't think it's appropriate. I'm not comfortable with the intensity of their friendship. And that the moment I feel she's not being truthful, I am walking out. Also, I reiterated from my point that she's a grown woman and can do what she wants, but she isn't free of consequences of her actions. In the end, she stood there with tears in her watery eyes and a look of contempt I've seen before when she's about to lose her crap, but kept her cool and said she's going off to see him.
What are you doing? Like, truly, what do you think is causing all of this?
Real talk. If your partner is uncomfortable with someone you're hanging out with, I don't think it's always good to like cut them out 100% and be like, no. Like, we're not doing this, because you want to be able to have relationships with all kinds of people and like both men and women. Like, I don't think your partner should ever gatekeep relationships generally, like as a general rule. Also, that's just my relationship style. That's not everyone's. But if your partner ever has something like an issue with someone that you're hanging out with, at least give it a beat, at least talk it out, at least get to like some kind of, conclusion before seeing this person immediately. Don't see this person right after you have an argument, right? I've seen before when she's about to lose her crap, but she kept her cool and said she's going off to see him. She tried to kiss me and I told her, no, maybe not. She then walked towards the door ranting about me being unreasonable, and then I told her again that she's a grown woman and that she can do as she pleases, but that she needs to be ready for the consequences of her actions. She slammed the door shut and drove off. I guess we'll see what happens when she comes back. There are relevant comments. Question: does the wife of the old friend know about their past friendship? Yeah, they know each other and used to be friendly. His wife used to actually be good friends with my wife, apparently, but they lost touch with each other after we moved away for a while, and his wife only married him years after that friends with benefit thing went down, even though she already had a kid from him or something. That's at least what I remember. I don't have any contact with her. It's all a bit convoluted. I am a very different person to my wife. She has tons of friends. I only have a couple. She's very social. I'm not, etc. About the possible cheating, yeah, I'm upset, but I also feel a bit numb about all of this. Just exhausted, I guess. Anyways, we won't be sharing a bed tonight. I'm going to watch a movie and sleep in the guest room. And another commenter says, reading your past posts, you two were on shaky ground when you were dating. Now that this man has re-entered her life, this relationship is over. She was looking for a way out, and she found it by cheating on you in front of your face with your approval up until now. I'm sorry, but sometimes your love isn't enough enough to keep the other person in love with you, and they will do anything they can to end it besides actually telling you they are finished with the relationship. And OP responds, yeah, we've had our ups and downs for sure. Recently, we stabilized for a bit after lots of individual therapy to deal with my anger and resentment towards her, but current events throw a wrench in that. Numbed out is all I feel right now. Curious what my therapist has to say about this, to be honest, seeing her next week again. The therapist, that is. And has OP's wife cheated on him before? No, she has never cheated on me, at least that I know of. This behavior of her is not totally out of the norm for her. Yikes. Meeting friends, even male ones. I think it's fine to have male friends. I think this is a little bit different. And I never had a weird feeling about it. It's almost never new people, but people she's known longer than me. Generally, I'm not a very jealous person. The current issue is on the surface only a little different, obviously. She knows him longer than me, normal, and she meets up with him, usually also normal, and they used to F way back, all right, weird, but she's friends with exes. But the problem I have is she cut him out of her life and now is pulling him back in and went from 0 to 100 in terms of contact within only a couple of weeks. Why don't OP go meet with his wife's old friend and see what the crypto related stuff is about? She has invited me to meet him and to come to his boot camps. I'm just not interested in him and his BS. I think you should go once, just see it.
Just to assess the situation, you know. Hey, maybe you get some gains.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
maybe you'll win. You know, we're in a bull market after all.
Yahoo!
Update. After she ran off to meet him at some bar, she came home around midnight. Oh my God. I was still up as I was watching something on TV. I looked over at her and she looked unsure. She sat down at the end of the couch where I was sitting and said she's sorry she got angry. She met up with him and they talked about the situation. Apparently, he told her that I am right and that is weird that they're spending so much time with each other. And she called a few friends to talk and get their opinion. They mirrored the same sentiments. Finally, some gosh darn sense in all of this bullcrap.
Hallelujah.
That it's not hard to not think of this as having at least an emotional affair. To be honest, I was still beyond pissed, and to hear that she only came to realize it when other people told her it was inappropriate, not just me, wasn't helping. Because it's like, do you not care about my feelings in this relationship?
100%. She clearly doesn't.
She clearly doesn't, which is like, that's the bigger problem. She explained that she is learning something from him that is giving her a new lease on life. And to her, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to finally start contributing financially and acquiring the skills to generate bigger income. He is apparently a quite successful day trader and has been teaching her and a group of other people how to day trade in extreme detail. She insisted she show me what she was doing, so I let her chew my ear off for an hour about day trading, looking at her programs, charts, indicators, ranting about financial markets, etc. She learned trading with leverage and stuff I have no clue about, but it amazes me, at least she at least these seem to be legit things, that a woman who is too ADHD to read boring government forms and gets overwhelmed with simple adult stuff like communicating with municipalities or banks and hates math and is diving headfirst into something as complex as crypto day trading. Still, she seems surprisingly knowledgeable about all this, and knowing how long it takes her to grasp things she's not interested in, I was impressed. And she was still defiant about the whole spending inappropriate amount of time stuff. I told her she needs to cool it with the contact, but I won't stand in her way, learning something that she feels a major opportunity for her. We agreed on ground rules. No evenings or weekends, no phone calls past 6 p.m., and no one-on-one meetings, only group settings. That feels like good ground rules.
I like it.
She's been stretching these rules every now and then, but largely kept to them. When she needed to bend them, she speaks to me beforehand and gives me ample heads up time, but hides her resentment of having to follow these rules. Still, she seems to want to keep the peace for now and is being proactive. Things have cooled down to a degree where I don't get angry anymore anytime she mentions it. Anyway, other than that, she now thinks she's a pro and a future millionaire, constantly talks about trading. It's been bumpy for other reasons outside of this weird friendship. Her trading talk is annoying as crap, and I still think she's got a little crush on our big trader hero. I've grown a bit distant in the last couple months because this whole situation emotionally drained me, but we are keeping things going, as you should, by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. So, healthy or not? What do you think, John?
I think OP said he's like, I've been growing distant from her from like just being emotionally drained from it all. I think he should be like, hey, I've grown distant from it being emotionally drained from it all. And like, honestly, after all this, I kind of just want to spend our time together.
Yeah.
And then see then if she says, yes, they do that, great. If not, maybe this ain't it.
Yeah. I know this is not the dramatic cheating and infidelity story some people were expecting. It's a pretty severe rough patch in an average normal people relationship. She's not cheating on me physically, I think. She might have a crush, which happens in a long-term relationship. And I have other crap to deal with at the moment that I just can't expend the energy to obsess over this every day for hours or fight this into a dramatic my way or the highway conclusion. I don't want to blow our marriage up just to satisfy other people's personal convictions on how a relationship should be like. It's crap now, but it's our crap. My instinct tells me it's a passing fancy, and if things go sideways, I can always walk out. This will be my last and only update. And we got some questions where OP responds, is OP's wife likely to do some crypto trading? OP says, I understand enough that I know she's only gambling. Yes, I call it gambling, small amounts. She had a 100% hit rate so far and only traded small amounts, $50 here, $100 there. Her strategy is only to trade in a way where the money is so small that her leverage is super high, as in 50 times the amount she puts in, that she will never risk coming near a liquidation price or whatever that means. It seems low risk enough in a high risk environment.
Yep. She's not cheating.
You don't think so?
That's a pretty good strategy.
Riley's been doing some crypto market trading as well, so he
on,
knows.
All my meme coins.
Does OP's wife have access to his savings? Nope. No chance in hell. She has no access to savings. Good idea.
Yeah, dude, you good.
And that is where that story ends.
But if you divorce her, you're basically divorcing her because you were scared of her crypto trading tactics.
I don't know, dude. I think sus. I feel like this is not fertile ground for a marriage.